Three, two, one.
What about the TikToks? What's the problem?
Oh, no. I was, do you remember that song? TikTok,
Yes, I do.
Don't stop. Ooh. I want to sex
Color
you
Me
up.
Bad with 2 Ds.
Color Me Bad.
It's because one of them.
And no you in the color, I don't think.
No, I don't
Was
think
there?
so. Were they British or European?
Let me check. Color Me Bad. No you. That's totally an Americanized color.
Very
there.
good.
Yes, of course, everyone remembers Brian Abrams, Mark Calderon, Sam Waters, Kevin Thornton.
I remember.
Martin Kimber.
You're gonna list them all. Okay, it's still going.
He's still going. Adam Emerald.
I saw a video a couple of years ago of them doing I think it was Color Me Bad, and it was a video of there was some dispute between 2 guys in the band, and they got in a fist fight on stage or some stuff like that. Yeah,
oh, shit.
That's unfortunate, but everybody seems to be fine, so we'll see.
What's interesting is the Google, like if you Google "Color Me Bad," Google has like these little buttons right under the search that like try to help you get to what you're actually looking for.
Yeah,
and those little buttons say videos, images, albums, cast, lyrics, members 2022, and breakup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Which, by the way, Color Me Bad, not a lot of people know this, straight out of Oklahoma City. OKC, what's up?
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't think that would matter.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but I hope there's something better that's come out of Oklahoma City that I'm sure there is. Someone will tell us, but
I can't think of anything.
That can't be what they're known for. I liked touring Oklahoma City.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What did you like about touring in Oklahoma City?
We played a pretty cool club there that was, a lot of people came in from like Texas and, around.
Around the Texas.
Yeah.
Texas ass.
What's the W city in Oklahoma?
Walla Walla Bing Bang.
I know. Wichita.
Oh, that's Kansas, I thought.
I loved Wichita, Kansas. Welcome to 2 Shots and a Royalty Check, brought to you by Venmo, Your Money, Your Move, and Liquid Death, Murder Your Thirst. Let's get back into it. Oh, that's not right.
Wait a minute. Oklahoma W. Oh, of course, I typed that in and...
Yeah, I probably have it all fucked up. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's just cut that part.
Wichita, Kansas.
Tulsa. That's the other one. Tulsa. Love Tulsa.
Well, that does not begin with a W.
No, but it feels like a W, doesn't it? Tulsa. Tulsa? It's like the Tulsa two-step. There's a W in that. There we go.
There's Wade, Wagoner, Wainwright,
Wakita,
Wainwright,
Killertown.
Walters, Winnett, Juan,
Wapanucka, yeah.
Wardville,
Shout out to
Warner.
Kelly and Wapanucka.
There's a Washington, Oklahoma. This is fascinating for the listeners at home who don't give a shit.
Although there's someone from Oklahoma that's like, keep going, bro.
Fuck yeah, keep going, bro.
Wait till you get to Washika. That's where I'm at, baby.
Oh, shit. Shots fired.
Yeah. Don't worry, that'll all be cut.
Don't worry, that'll all be cut. How are you? You visited
You
the...
look fantastic today.
Thank you very much.
Rested? Tan,
I don't
ready?
think that's true. Tone, tan, fit, and ready. Yeah. Turn it up because it's getting heavy. I think that's the lyrics for the Snoop Dogg rap in California Girls by the great Katy Perry. I am not well rested. I got home late last night, and my son has been doing his high school orientation this week, so we've had to be at his high school, reasonably timed, 8 o'clock in the morning. But, getting up 6:45, getting him ready, getting him out the door.
So you went to Yellow Card last night?
Yep. We went to
Amberlin, and who was the other band?
Mayday Parade. They were main support for Yellow Card.
Amberlin is, I'm trying to remember the connection there. Is that Rick Beato? Did Rick Beato produce them?
Let's find out.
But like Amberlin sounds really familiar, as if I know somebody in them.
Yeah.
I know they were signed to like Tooth and Nail, and I used to do some licensing consult for Tooth and Nail because they had a bunch of like metal records.
Yeah, Tooth and Nail on Universal Republic plus Island UK, Tooth and Nail, UNFD equal Vision. Let's see who produced discography.
So was it all Christian rock?
No, Amberlin's not a Christian band.
Yeah, they are.
No, they're not.
Oh, sorry.
You're thinking of Jars of Clay.
No, I'm thinking of I am, but I'm also thinking of Amberlin because I know that I had something to do with.
Oh yeah, it was. So.
But they got a Dove Award, and you don't get one of those without.
I did not know that, but
an X-Gen
it was
band.
not. Yeah. So
and Yellow Card is kind of considered. I mean, they were crossover pop, but they were considered sort of a De Jesus band.
Oh, I did not know that. Let's take a look here.
Oh my God! Did I just inform you about all this?
Yeah, I just don't.
I love when contemporary music, works its way in, and you're like, oh,
well,
yeah, that's a positive message. I didn't know that you were actually like a Christian band.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently that's
it's like Creed at some point turned into that.
Can you take them higher? I cannot. Scott Stapp.
Oh yes,
I got to play with Scott Stapp a few years ago. The Fred Jones Band. I'll say they're real. The Freddie Jones Band.
That's right.
We played with. It was them. It was Scott Stapp, and I knew a couple of the guys in his band, and Taylor Dane and Toad the Wet Sprocket. It was a very odd venture, but it was really
that
really
is
good.
An odd venture.
All right, let's see here.
That's the one where I was supposed to interview Scott.
Oh.
And he was in town, and like, remember, Rich? I was going to come down and do a songwriting session at the hotel.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
With Marty Lloyd of Freddie Jones Band?
Scott, yeah, well, that's why.
Yeah.
But Scott, his people reached out in the magazine and stuff, and I was going to do, and it was like, big comeback album.
Yeah.
And, it was all kind of set, and I'm like, hey, you're here. Why don't I come swing by the hotel, or if you want to do a phoner, it doesn't really matter to me. And they're like, yeah, you can go down to the hotel. I was like, I'll buy him some coffee, and we'll record it and do the whole thing.
Nice.
And then, like the day before it happened, because you guys were playing on a weekend,
like a
Civic
Sunday
Center or something like that.
Yeah, it was it wasn't the Day of Rock. What the hell was it? Taste of Colorado, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
And the day before it happened, I got an email from the press people. By the way, this has nothing to do with Scott.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just make that clear up
Can
front.
you take
Pretty
him higher?
sure it has nothing to do with him.
Take him higher.
The press people wrote back and they were like, hey, just so you know, here's the things you can't ask about. Which, first of all, you just don't say that to a music journalist because, like, that's what I'm going to ask about. Like, thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
But they were like, here's the things you can't ask about. Number 1, George Bush.
Yeah.
Number 2, Barack Obama. Number 3, terrorism. Number 4, methamphetamines.
Oh.
FBI, CIA. And I was like, okay. I actually wasn't going to talk about all that stuff that happened. And then she goes, and also Creed.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
So just review the album is basically what you're asking.
Yeah.
But not what you've been up to since.
Yeah.
Not what's going on.
Yeah. Now, how are you feeling since?
Which, by the way, Creed is back officially.
Doing a rock cruise, I guess.
Oh, the cruise circuit. I love it. I love that thing.
I love the idea.
You're out there for
of that.
like 3 to 5 days, locked in with fans.
Yeah. I love that idea. And I love that it can happen when touring season is at a low in the, like most of them do it in the wintertime when it's like cold as fuck here, and they're just like, hey, get on a boat, with 2,500 of your closest friends or however many people they put on it, for 5 days at, $500 a pop, and good luck.
Oh yeah.
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 Sounds fucking great.
It seems like a good deal. I don't know how the economics work because
I'd be curious.
It seems like all of those. Well, didn't Terry Terry and them do it? Didn't the Ilios brothers do that one of those?
I don't know.
Weren't they doing one of those?
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I don't know. I know Big Head Todd did one.
Yeah. We could probably get some insight on that.
Work, but because whenever you see the lineup, it's like 15 bands.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can do a little bit of math here.
All right.
Let's look at the Creed cruise. I want to know what it costs. So it's Creed, Three Doors Down, Buck Cherry, Tonic, Vertical Horizon, Fuel, Verve Pipe, Tantric, Dishwalla, Louise Post of Veruca Salt, brought up before. So it's 10 bands on this thing.
10 bands. And you got to think 3 of those are headliners.
Yeah. It's sold out. The cruise is sold out. It's 4 nights.
How much is my ticket?
It's 6 man. 6 man is the producers. I'm trying to follow prices. It says it's... hold on.
I'm just wondering, like...
Okay.
Because, I mean, you gotta think
it's over... an interior room for 2 guests is $1,000 per person. That's the lowest price.
Shit, that's cheap.
Yeah. That's on deck 4, and if you have 3 guests in your room, you're now down to $900. 4 guests down to, $850. 1 guest is $1,800 if you go by yourself. And if you get the fanciest of tickets, it's anywhere between $2,000 and $6,500 plus $315 for fees. It says.
Oh yeah, utilities and taxes and drinks and
So and that's in one of the owner's suites, right?
Oh,
so
very nice.
So let's say, I mean, like, God, I don't even. It doesn't tell me how many of those are.
What's the name of the cruise?
The cruise is called the Summer of '99 cruise.
Summer of '99. So that way, if you're listening, now you can look it up.
Yeah.
And we're gonna sell some tickets here.
Yeah. Well, it's sold out. It's sold out. Yeah. You can do a manual, you can do a payment plan, you could do all this stuff.
But I mean, you got to think 3 Doors Down. I mean,
yeah.
Like, I know none of them all have a single right now, but 3 Doors Down and Creed, like, you got to think, a comeback for them, like, those are $25,000 fees at least, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to think they're in the 25 category.
But say you've got, let's say we average this out to you're making about $3,000 per person, right? $2,500 times $2,500. That's some money.
No, not 2,500. Like, the band is usually.
No. I'm talking about like the number of people on the boat, and I'm averaging anywhere between it's $1,000 to $7,000 per person. I'm going to average it on the low end about $2,000. You're still looking at about You're still looking at about grossing over like about $6 million.
Okay, yeah, that'd do.
That'd do it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so they could probably get their fees and I mean,
pay for
Veruca Salt's probably at $5,000 or $6,000.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Those kind of bands are down there.
I think that a band in that, I think Dishwalla is probably the point. Is like, we're going to be out for 4 days and the band's going to make $25,000. Great.
Yeah.
That means everybody takes $1,500 home at the end of the day, after all the.
Well, and plus with those cruises, you don't know, like, they're not all playing every day. I think that they're spinning around and like, some are playing certain days.
Yeah. But that one's sold.
I don't know. The economics make sense.
The economics do make sense, and you get to do it when you can't go on a bus. And you're sharing travel expenses between 9 other projects. You're not paying for your crew and all that kind of stuff.
No load out.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of fucking really nice things about
room.
Yeah. Somebody take me on the golf cart to the lower deck.
I heard Michael Anthony talking about doing it with Sammy Hagar.
Oh yeah,
and Michael Anthony loved it.
Yeah,
because he liked partying with the fans. They're all right there. And apparently Sammy is really bad on cruises.
Oh no!
For all of his
Mexico
and sea stuff.
Oh shit!
He just would go back to his room and get seasick.
Oh no, poor guy. That's a bummer.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Man. All right, so let's book a cruise tour.
Yeah, it sounds like a good thing. Speaking of cruise tours, you and I had talked about a friend of ours, John Macy, who's got a really great studio in where the hell is it in Texas?
Rockport,
Texas. Right? Coastal Bend Productions. I saw him play on Sunday night with Jeremy from Big Head Todd. My buddy Ryan Elwood on drums, Noah on bass. Jenny Shawhan.
Jenny.
Yeah.
I love Jenny.
She did her CD release party. She was really fantastic. But I can't remember who the piano player was, but John was Macy, was playing pedal steel. And it, just the right side of the stage, or stage left, the audience right, with John and this piano player. There was probably, I don't know, that like some of the finest musicianship I had ever seen in my life. And then you sit Jeremy Lawton in on one song, on the other side on lap steel, and it's like, my God, I got to see some fucking legends.
Musician.
Yeah.
And so does she play? Is her stuff contemporary, or is it like bluegrass or country?
It's
kind
of country-ish. It's kind of.
But not like Carrie Underwood country.
No,
more.
well, I mean, there's a couple of songs that kind of lean that way, but I would put it more like the kind of 90s country meets some of that classic like Lucinda Williams kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, I like that.
So it was really good, and she sounded amazing.
Songwriter-driven country.
Yeah, very much. And it was really fun. And she had an 8-piece band. She had a lead guitar player. She had I don't remember the young lady. I'm dying. Sorry, I don't remember the young lady who opened the show, but she was also her backup singer. And drummer, bass, pedal steel, and piano. And then Jeremy popped his ass up there a couple times.
Nice.
So, yeah, it was really, really cool, really good sounding band, and it was really fun. It's one of those nights where it's like I'm sitting in a room with, some legendary musicians in our town.
Hell yeah.
And most of the time nobody notices. I know I've been to there's a couple of bars in Nashville when you'll, like at the end of the night, you'll see whoever just did the big sessions down the street, the bunch of, 6 or 8 like older gentlemen they just put on their suits and they go down to the bar and they fuck around for 4 hours and collect their, keep their chops sharp. And you're just seeing like the legends of, those sessions just out there playing, and nobody notices because they're not playing Jason Aldean.
And they're just so good.
Yeah.
They're like, it's funny. I've been to some shows with some people over the last few years that, I don't know if you do this, but like when you've done a lot of live shows and you know a lot of really good musicians, especially a lot that are better than you are.
Yeah.
And you see someone and you're like, you guys just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like you guys just don't get it how good this fucking is. Like
Yeah.
this thing right here, and I'm just freaking out about it, and they're like, yeah, it's a good song. It's a fun time.
Yeah.
You want to give me another beer?
Yeah.
I'm like, no, God, I don't think you understand.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm that musician that's like, this is special shit. He's not missing at all.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Well, and it just always seems so effortless too, and like it just seems so easy. But I also know that, and we've had this conversation before, most people don't listen to music the same way we do. They listen to...
No.
It's a peripheral thing. It's not an intentional thing, usually.
Yeah, they're listening to the music.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're listening to the musicians.
Yeah. And
collective. Because when you're used to mixing or producing or something, I can hone in on the keyboard player, or hone in on the drum part, or hone in on the vocals, and I'm able to separate all that out. And I forget that sometimes when I'm watching a concert with someone. They're like, I don't understand. Like, they're all playing. How would you hear that?
Yeah.
Like, well, that's just something you do.
Yeah. Yeah. And
it's just sort of natural. A lot of musicians do that.
Yeah, we do unpack things. It's that we don't just hear the overall song. We hear all the pieces of the song too. So
and then I'm like, God, what are they? Boy, is he driving the reverb pretty hard on that bass? I start hearing some of the mix quality tones too that are happening, and and that's I wonder if a lot of other musicians find this, that like, and maybe this is something I know it's something I learned later on, like when I was a young buck, just out in my 20s, out doing shots of Jaeger, bumping into everybody at different clubs and watching bands all night long. I probably didn't listen to it that way. I could hear it that way.
Yeah.
But like, as I got older and you do more sessions, more recording, more writing, things like that, you start noticing all of those little things. And I'm like, I wonder if I'm robbing myself of the experience of just like standing there and listening to the music,
Yeah.
the song, and enjoying it.
I come up against this when it comes to creativity a lot. This is this piece of like, sometimes I like to think I'm a pretty accomplished guitar player and composer. And
I like to
writer.
think you are too.
I like to think I am. I've done
I
a
think
lot.
we both like
I've
to
done a
think
lot
that.
of what's the Michael Caine line? I've made a lot of shit, but I've also made a lot of money. You know, but you know, like I've played a lot of places, and sometimes my skill set and my ability to traverse the matrix of music theory as quickly as I do tends to rob me of a little bit of creativity, I think, sometimes. It's the Jimmy Page model of, yes, he's a great player, great writer, great composer. But I think if his skill set were any more advanced, some of that creativity would go away. And sometimes I like to approach things from a place of, this is the thing I'm not good at, so that I can actually have to set up a limit and a boundary of what I can do. You know, when I was 16 years old, playing guitar in my bedroom, doing a lot of other things in my bedroom. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello there. My goal was to be able to play anything and everything I wanted to play.
Right.
You know, and so that's what I chose to do with my time, was, you know, run out everything to the point that if there was something I heard on a guitar record, a guitar player doing, I could play it, right?
Yeah.
And that skill set has served me very, very well as a sideman and a session guy. But as a creative, I feel like having no limits and no boundaries on what I can do technically affects my creativity, because I can just do everything. I don't have a limit on it, pretty much.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and then you also, you know, I imagine you tend to get bored with playing Highway to Hell.
No.
Just the chords, you know?
I like playing it for people. I don't mind playing anything for people. I like the engagement with people. But like if I'm sitting in my basement practicing guitar, I'm not playing Highway to Hell for sure.
No. You're playing,
I'm playing Ingve. No, I'm not playing Ingve.
J.
I'm not
Malmsteen
playing
is
Ingve.
J.
It's not. No, that is a hard no. And
I just saw an Ingve Malmsteen poster.
You did?
And I was like, did he drop the J? What happened?
Oh, I hope not, because it stands for
thought
Josephine.
It was trademarked.
Yeah. Ingve Josephine Malmsteen.
I wonder though, hey, other musicians out there, when you're listening to this, and I think most of the people that listen to this are musicians, although thank you, all of you who aren't, that listen to us babble about this shit.
Yeah.
Do you find that you don't enjoy live shows because you're breaking it down?
Oh,
because you're breaking
good
down
question.
the musicianship, or maybe your instrument part, maybe you're a bassist and you're listening to the bass.
I'm a bassist.
Or do you know, if you're a drummer, high drummers. You know, like I wonder if other people go through that, or if it's just stupid that it's just us. We're the only ones in the whole world that ever go through
I don't
that.
think that's true. I think that I think that that's pretty much I would imagine it's pretty ubiquitous idea that drummers focus on the drummer, you know. Like I'll be watching, you know, like and you're like, wow, that guy's doing some really cool, intricate stuff, and you know, then we mansplain to everybody around us. See, mansplaining is short for.
You guys, what Stu meant to say there was that.
Yeah, but that's like sometimes, like I know there's a piece of this. It's like something that really excites us. Like it flips a switch, and we get really excited. It's like, oh my god, that thing that they just did is so cool. I want to share it with somebody, and everybody goes, you're speaking, you know, like a foreign language to me.
We know. It's great.
Yeah, it's great.
Like, you know what gets me? So as a vocalist, I can tell you one thing that always gets me is when I hear someone with a really good fry, with like a really good fry and a high note. Yeah. So like Dave Grohl is a great example of this. I know, here he goes again, but I won't go on it too long.
Yeah.
But like someone that can scream and then sing softly. Yeah. And in my mind, you know, having done many shows at a time, in my mind, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like the 33rd show in this run.
Yeah.
How is he doing that? Like, if I watch a video or something, I see a live thing and I see someone, the quality, not that they're just hitting the notes, not that they can sing, but they're hitting these quality notes.
Yeah.
Same thing with the touch and guitar or whatever.
Yeah.
But there's a physicality in a
Singer, yeah, for sure.
That, like, you can't tune your guitar. No pedal's going to get you there. Either you can do it today or you can't.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can make yourself do it, but you can't do it tomorrow if you do it tonight.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just, we were having a conversation last night about Taylor Swift, and I think you've probably seen this TikTok around, that what's getting missed in this whole tour is that she is an athlete.
Oh, God,
3.5 hours.
Yeah.
There's some costume changes, but there's no intermission.
Yeah.
And her voice is spot on every night.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets a little gruff, and that's good. That's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But it's strong. She's doing it right.
Yeah.
I mean, she's not doing night after night after night after night. She has a pretty good schedule, but still, that much singing and dancing and running and posing and all of the things she's doing, it just blows me away as a vocalist.
It's pretty easy to see when you're watching a performer whether they've had any, because they've had any training or anything like that. Like I watched with the emo night we did last night. It was very clear in the performers who was who had some type of training, and you could see that they were like singing appropriately and from the right places, and everything looked relaxed, and you could you could just tell, you could hear it, right?
Yeah.
And then there was some examples of that not being the case,
Right.
I know that this is a dirty word, but there are some tracks supporting the Taylor Swift show.
Sure.
That's the way it is. It's I'm not saying that that's what's going on the whole time, but it is, there's technology supporting. But you are right. 3.5 hours is a long fucking time to be out there running around and singing, and and she does have some bare bones moments where it's just her and a piano or her and a guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and she really has, and in order to do that night after night after night after night, you have to have a very specific routine, right?
Yeah, you really do.
And you have to be on a schedule. You have to be, she's not, going to the bus at 4 a.m, haggard after a night of Jaeger. Mm-hmm. You can't do that at that level doing that. It doesn't work like that.
And even back in the day, like when we used to tour like that, and we'd play, 4 shows a week, 4 nights a week, 4 hours.
Yeah.
And every week, over and over and over and over and over, and no matter whether it was cold or rainy or whatever, or inside.
Yeah.
And we partied every night afterwards.
Yeah.
And it was funny because there were some local bands that were getting some bigger coverage and getting on the radio and stuff, and they reached out to me and they're like, how do you sing that much? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
Like, there was a guy who had been converted to the singer who was a bass player, and he was asking me, he's like, God, how do you fucking do it? Like, I can sing, but I don't know how to do it every single night for that long. And I was like, well, I work on it. Like it's like I do warm-ups, I do lessons after that. I do warm-ups in my rehearsing. I do there's a lot of things you have to do. It's no different than being an athlete in a lot of ways. And as you get older, especially with voice and drumming is the same thing. Yeah. It becomes a body performance.
Oh, yeah.
Like if your body isn't tuned that way, you're not going to get there. Like your body will give up on you. All the rest of it, it's not just your voice. It's how your back is and where your neck is and all of that kind of stuff. So it takes work. But I mean, like, I'm glad that people don't see that. I'm glad that that's not a big deal. Like Def Leppard just talked about it on their tour, and about how Joe Elliott basically was losing his voice about 7 years ago before they did the hard rock thing. And he got brought in and got great lessons, and the whole band got lessons, and Viv got lessons from this guy. And he's like, oh yeah, I sing better now than when I was in my 20s. Yeah. Minus a few of the top notes, but those were notes that you just hit then. They're not going to always be there. Yeah. But to be able to sing that way every night, I don't know why Vince Neil hasn't met with this guy, but
maybe he has, and maybe he has. I don't know. I mean, there would be.
He hasn't. I've heard him. It's
yeah.
not good.
Well, but I think that there may be some other things going on there that prevent.
It's just too high. He's just too high. Some of that is just too high for a 60-year-old.
That's part of it, but I also wonder, there's probably some lifestyle changes that you have to initiate, and maybe he's not ready to.
Yeah.
And I understand that.
Yeah.
I did a show last week. I did a private event that I performed at, and it was in this was just a kind of an unexpected thing. I did a bunch of warm-ups going to go sing, and it was in the middle of a very there was a lot of plants around. Oh. And when I stepped on the outdoor stage around all these plants, my allergies went absolutely haywire, and I had to sing around them all night long, all night. And it was not expected, but because I've had some vocal training, I knew how to do that. Yeah, and not pull a muscle, and get through the adventure. And I mean, I was there from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till about 11 o'clock at night, because I was doing a whole lot of stuff there that day. But yeah, it was without that kind of training, that kind of education, I would not have survived. He did not survive.
And by the way, if you're a vocalist now, I can tell you this as an august gentleman, as a man of a certain age, you can get back there.
Yeah.
So if you say you did it a while ago and you've gotten on, and maybe you're in a different band now or a different phase in your musical life, you can. It takes you longer, but you can get back to working out your voice. And I was trying to find the guy who's at Mike Love. I'm trying to find the guy who I did some of these lessons with him. This vocal trainer. But I wanted to find it for everyone. Yeah. Because you really should probably you should actually go and find him. Yeah. It says the secret method of him. I'll find it, and I'll put a link into it. But
I'm
he
curious
did
too.
I mean, he's done Nancy Wilson. I mean, these are some people that are super duper very good. I mean, there's Ken Tamplin. Ken Tamplin does a really good one. Yeah. Like a vocal training kind of thing. And you can get these online and kind of do it yourself. You don't have to be right with the guy. Yeah.
Unless you want to be.
Yeah. Unless you want to be. Yeah, but he's super duper expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Super duper expensive. But yeah, you can do it. And I'm trying to find where that. Yeah, Ken Tamplin. I mean, Ken Tamplin's one of the dudes. If you can, try Ken Tamplin out first. There's also a guy here in Denver, Steven Nato, and he's super good. So yeah, but you can get some training, and don't think that the training is bad to do. You absolutely need to get some vocal training eventually. Yeah. All right.
I agree.
All right. So for the little topic today, I want to give you a few choices.
Oh.
To see what we want to dive into on the music focus thing here.
Uh-huh.
Choice number 1 is Lizzo.
Ooh.
Choice number 2 is 50 Years of Hip Hop. And then choice number 3 is the future of independent music. Is it over? And I want to show you some headlines on that. So what would you like to do? Would you like to go bananas and go Lizzo?
Oh my goodness.
'Cause I got some shit to say about that.
About the Lizzo thing?
Yeah.
Well, let's fucking do that. I mean, it is timely.
Right. Let's do it. It's timely. Well, by the time you hear this, who knows if it'll be settled. But
yeah.
So Lizzo has been sued.
Yes.
Literally sued by, I think it's up to 6 of her dance crew members, including the dance troupe leader, I believe. Yeah. From a very famous attorney is leading this. And the reason why you know about all this, and if you don't know about all this, we're going to let you know a little bit. But if you're on TikTok, you do know.
Yeah.
I can't see the word banana without thinking about Lizzo right now.
Yeah.
So a few of the salacious things that came out. that are basically about this lawsuit is that Lizzo ain't as good as you think she is. She's not as nice of a person as you think she is. That's what they're saying. This is what they're saying, okay? And that as a boss, these gals felt uncomfortable because they had to eat a banana out of a stripper's nether regions at a strip club in Amsterdam. That was one of them. The second thing was catching simulated dildos with simulated vaginas. And these people did not feel comfortable with that and felt that was an unsafe workplace and are suing. Okay, so that's the general thing. And I may have it a little bit wrong, but that is the generalization of what's going on.
Yeah, there was an over-sexualized environment that they didn't feel comfortable in.
Coupled with Lizzo making some comments to her dance troupe leader. She's on tour. Okay, so making some comments about some of the gals' weight gains.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay, so that's the framing of it. So let me start you with this. The reason you know all of this is because this attorney has gone on a press mission. I am nobody in music journalism, and I got this press release. I got stuff to cover this. Like, hey, you interested in this lawsuit? Okay, when you file a lawsuit that gets filed in court, there are people that watch Court Watcher, JSTOR. There are things that you can watch in like district court. There's certain courts that you look at for copyright stuff, like in California and New York. So if you ever see someone filing a copyright claim, that's because somebody's always watching it. These kind of claims usually get filed in a certain district or wherever the company that the singer is under or their label or whatever, however but they are suing her. They're not suing the label, my understanding. Again, I may have this a little bit wrong. I don't have it in front of me. And the reason why I don't is because I don't care to get into the weeds of it. And here's why. This is a public lawsuit. The difference between a public lawsuit and a lawsuit that is like sort of what I call a civil lawsuit, where it's like that is meant to extract some sort of justice and change, and it's a very serious legal issue. I'm not saying that these aren't, but these are just allegations, right? It's just a lawsuit. No one's been arrested. No charges have been filed. And so when a public lawsuit happens, it's really meant to smear someone. And the person that gets to come out and do that first is the accuser. Right? The accusers, usually it's the attorney, usually a celebrity kind of attorney that has some money in the game and wants to make a big splashy mess out of it. And then all of this stuff becomes stories. The news organizations pick it up, music rags pick it up, Billboard picks it up, Rolling Stone picks it up, everybody picks it up. And then you get Twitter that piles on and TikTok that piles on, and you have a few hangers-on, maybe haters, if you will, that also come in and go, see, I told you, she was never nice to begin with. I've been saying this for years. You got those people that come in, which the veracity of what they're saying, you have no idea whether that's real or not. Everyone's chasing clout. Everyone's trying to get their clicks, trying to get, their TikTok views up or whatever. So bear that in mind when you see this stuff come out. Lizzo had to wait about a week or two to even make a statement that said, basically like, I am, I'm not a perfect employer. I'm not a perfect person. The blah, blah, blah. We work people really hard. But here's what she can't do. She can't come out and say that didn't happen. It's so specific. It clearly did. It clearly did fucking happen.
Yeah.
The question is whether or not that makes her a bad employer or a bad person. And then there's obviously a legal definition of whether or not that is an unsafe workplace and whether or not that is, whether there should be damages, whether or not, all those kind of things. So here's where I fall on it, and then I want to hear your point of view on it.
Yeah.
One, you were in the strip club in Amsterdam on tour. You left the hotel. You did go. Like you knew what the fuck you were doing. You went to a strip club at 3 o'clock in the morning in Amsterdam. And it's kind of like the Bill Burr thing. What did you think would happen?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when things go a little bit further and it's like, hey, go eat that banana out of so-and-so's whatever, right?
Yeah.
What isn't being alleged here is that someone said, no, I'm not going to do that. Fuck off. I'm out of here. I'm going back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And then she said, if you don't, you're getting fired.
Yeah.
That is not what's being alleged. Whoever did it, whatever happened, they did it. See? Same thing with the throwing simulated dildos and vaginas and all that. To me, and I don't know, again, I know that I'm a little bit on this side of things, right?
Yeah.
I know that I'm more on the acceptance side of the crazy pirate lifestyle in music because this is why we're not accountants, right?
Yeah.
This is why you're on tour in Amsterdam at a strip club at 3:00. That's not what accountants do.
Yeah.
That's why there are safe workplaces in OSHA, right? But so my point is that this all sounds a hell of a lot like a lot of bachelorette parties I've played, been to, been around, DJ'd. It sounds like a lot of those. To me, it's harmless fun. Now, if you are a good, upstanding Christian young lady who does not agree with sexualized lifestyle, you know, that could be offensive, and I can understand that.
Yeah.
However, I also don't understand why you are on a pop stars tour who is very sexual, who is a young, upcoming megastar, who is very clear and openly sexualized. I mean, it's not like her brand is not sexualized.
Yeah.
And so, you know, so that is kind of where I stand on these things, is that, like, I understand the compunction to be like, that is out of bounds, but I think the bounds in music industry are so much different than what most people think. You know, I heard a story from a friend, and I'm hoping I don't give her away, because if you see her on TikTok, you may know this. But basically, there's a music company that hires people.
Yeah.
They take them out on a Tuesday night and get them loaded, like drop dead drunk loaded.
Yeah.
Send them in an Uber. They pay for everything. Send them in an Uber on the way home.
Yeah.
And they don't say anything, but if they're not on work, if they're not at work on time the next day, they're fired on the spot. Because if you can't do that with us, how are you going to do the normal mixer with some clients and bigger label artists and bigger producer things? And I'm just being honest with you. This is where a lot of shit happens. I've said it a million times. The music industry is about the hang.
Yeah.
It is very rarely about 9 a.m. in the studio with a nice cup of coffee and we all did our yoga. Sorry, you should do that. Don't get me wrong. Be that way.
Yeah.
It's not the boardroom. That's a different kind of music business. But the music industry happens, really. The shit happens with the hang, the late night. There's a few drinks. There might be a joint over there. And look, if that's not who you are, I get it. Change the music industry or go do something else.
I think part of it is changing these days with that.
It is changing, and maybe this is part of it. So let's go to your side. Whose brand is take care of yourself?
Yeah, exactly.
Did I tee you up?
My brand is selfishness.
That's right.
Yeah. This one,
disclaimer, neither one of us know any inside information here. Neither one of us know any legal or inside information here. I don't know anyone on the tour, so there you go.
I just have, these are just, these opinions are purely for entertainment purposes only.
That's right. Lawyer up. Don't sue us.
Yeah. This is just a kind of a talking heads kind of thing, but you have a point. The music industry is what's the Hunter S. Thompson quote? It's a shallow trench where good men die like dogs. And there's also a downside. You know, that kind of vibe. Yes, there are different boundaries in the music industry. I do know that it is about the hang. It is about the adventures. And when you go on tour, it's not just about the show. It's about the fact that your singer, disappeared into the nighttime with some brown acid and a crazy person. You know, that's a real story. There are different boundaries, but I have so many stories of just, random adventures that happened. I remember going on one tour, and we made the dumbass decision to start our tour in Vegas, and we spent our entire per diem at the Spearmint Rhino one night, and we're broke for the next month. Like shit like that. And
neither one of us have ever been like superstar level rich that had the kind of money and that kind of tour.
Yeah.
Where it's like basically anybody can drive you around. People will be quiet. You can pay people off. Yeah. You know, so, and we still did all that shit. Yeah. Like no one was coming to bail us out.
Yeah. Which is, you know,
literally. Thank you for bailing me out, Jeff.
Yeah. To be continued on that story. To me, this one feels, it feels different. Now, I want to be the person that I try to believe the accusers and believe that somebody but this is not a place where somebody says I was assaulted or I was, beat up in an alley. I
said no, and then
I said no, and then they proceeded to do it anyway. Now, if I didn't see that in any of the stuff I read, we may be incorrect on that. Maybe somebody did say no, but the other piece of it is you are at a strip club after hours. In Amsterdam, and so there's a little piece of. I remember this. I've had this conversation several times. Remember Zach Brown got busted with a hooker in a hotel room and a bunch of people like a few years ago.
I absolutely do not remember that.
Okay, I'll have to find that story at some point in time.
Yes, of course I remember that.
Yes, of course. I have no idea what you're talking about. But the point of the story was
I was not there.
He was. Yeah, there was a whole to do about like, I didn't know this is what was going to happen. It's like, okay, it's after 1 a.m. in a certain location in a certain part of the world in a certain place. What did you think was going to happen?
Exactly.
Right? So there's that piece of it. Now, if somebody felt uncomfortable and didn't speak up for themselves, and they didn't feel comfortable speaking up for themselves, that's another thing. I'm kind of sitting waiting for this one to shake itself out because I love Lizzo. I love her music. I love what she stands for. The crack about somebody's weight, especially from a human that is, like existing on a platform of big girl power, that kind of weirds me out a little bit because, I mean, was it the wrong way? Was the girl too thin for her big girl power? I don't know. Right. Or, is that what she thinks or that's what she feels like she was told? Or like, I don't know the answer to that. I'm waiting for it to shake out and because I kind of want to, I want to love Lizzo again, and I've got a little bit of a governor on that right now, like I did when we talked about Louis C.K. It's like I know. Again, to your point, nobody forced you to do this. I don't think.
Right.
But if you were uncomfortable, I'm sorry you were uncomfortable, it's a valid place to be. But I really don't know what to say about it, because it's like it goes so violently against everything I thought this person stood for.
Yeah, and the suit also, it kind of drags in the dance captain, and she had some sort of poor activities, how she was handling the dance crew. Mm-hmm. So she's part of it as well, like being against her. Yeah. Whereas like she was, proselytizing to other performers and deriding those who had premarital sex and, like that kind of crap, which I don't care for that. Right. Yeah. But that's like that's someone in your employ. Yeah. And the thing about whether or not the person, apparently what happened is the gal who had the issue, Lizzo had an issue with one of the gals who had like kind of a weight problem. And she recorded the meeting and then did this stuff. And I think she got fired for recording the meeting, but not fired for the weight thing, I don't think. And so, again, a lot of these things, this is all allegations, right? None of those things are true or not true. We don't know. My issue here is going to be that just knowing how legal processes work. Mm-hmm. Look, this isn't gonna end in some grand like trial
Yeah.
Right? Where Lizzo's walking into a courtroom and facing off against these gals. And like, it probably isn't going to end that way. Like when you're at this level, it's either settled or thrown.
Yeah.
And so we won't ever know whether or not these things, and this is my whole point about a press lawsuit.
Yeah.
Is like whenever this shit happens, just keep that in mind as a social media consumer. That yes, it's a lawsuit, and that means it's real and it's legal, and there are lawyers involved, and depositions and things going back and forth. But the chances of it actually going to court, actually people being in court, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I show you the banana that was used. That's just probably not going to happen. It might. Like Taylor Swift took the one to court with the guy who pinched her ass in Denver with the guy, and then ended up getting the settlement or winning. She actually won the award, and then for $1, she sued him for $1.
Yeah.
But she just wanted to make sure that the activity stopped. See, and I don't know what the stakes of these are. I don't know how much they're suing for.
Yeah.
Again, these are civil lawsuits, so there's awards involved and big words involved for like excruciating and workplace violence, things like that get thrown around.
Yeah.
And so the fact is that most likely this is going to end up being settled. Most likely those people are not going to be working with Lizzo anymore.
Yeah.
I hate to say that, like, it's going to hurt their reputation getting other gigs on big tours. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But but it's not. They could have filed under seal. Yeah. But they are saying who they are. Yeah. And like, so say I was telling someone last night that was like, say I'm a manager of a big act that's putting together a tour for 2024 and I need dancers and we're going to be doing auditions here soon. If I see those names come up, I might have a little pause. I might, because this is tour life. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but it isn't 9 to 5. We don't get on the bus and drink our green juice and get a full night's of sleep. And, it just isn't that. And maybe it should. Again, I also want to play the other side of this. Look at him. He's playing both sides. I do want to play the other side of this. And I'm saying...
That was a terrible Connery.
I know. I'm not saying that this is the way it should always be. And you can design your tours how you want.
Exactly. As we said with Taylor Swift, she's got to have a specific routine to do that every night. Yeah. And so Lizzo has come out and said it's false and they're hurtful and unbelievable and outrageous. And we'll see what happens. But again, I think that people should slow their roll on this, knowing that it's a very public lawsuit and that it very likely will not end up in discovery with, like, how do you prove it? Who had the video? And then do you have the video of Lizzo going, no, if you don't eat that banana, you're off the tour, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit you would have to prove sort of employer liability. Yeah. Now, it may be that some of the recordings of the rehearsals have some, I don't know if you've ever been in a dance rehearsal, but you think we're tough. Oh, my God. Dance captains. 5, 6, 7, 8. Bitch, you were wrong. Get in the back room. And start, you're going to cry? There's no crying in dancing. I mean, it's rough out there for dancers. Yeah. It's rough out there for everybody in the entertainment industry. But I would just counsel you to remember this is most likely going to be settled. That doesn't mean that Lizzo did all of the things that are said here. It would probably, they've already gotten at least $2 million in attention here. Yeah. And so, whatever the number is, if it's $2 or $3 million and you're making 26 this year and your label and your publishing and the whatever, and you're like, you come out with a nice massage statement, here's your $5 million, shut the fuck up and go away, we're going to hire nice dancers. Yeah. That's probably how it's going to go down. Yeah. It feels... And it's a shame. It's a shame. Yeah. It feels like just the way that it was released and put out there, with it being so public and so, just that way, like, it feels a little bit like a money grab. Yeah, more than and that's and even if it like I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to make any opinions on whether it happened or not, but even if it did happen, you were still there and you chose to be there and you didn't have to. And at least I don't think so. And if that's not the case, you're right. It's unless there's a tape of somebody doing it, it's very difficult to prove. And the only way that that you can make somebody in Lizzo's camp take responsibility for it is to make this much noise, because you can't prove it to a certain extent.
Okay, and so here's as we move the ball forward a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Again, the stuff that I said about our dance captain, there's no thing in the lawsuit that says that even Lizzo knew about that, but she's under her employ, and so there's all that kind of crap.
Yeah.
This goes back to Taylor Swift, throwing $100,000 to every truck driver.
Yeah.
And then over the course of the tour is giving away $50 million in bonuses to everyone. Because, everyone on that tour knows how much she's making.
Yeah.
And the truck drivers are working their ass off, and everybody knows, they've hit all their marks. The tour has been flawless.
Yeah.
And look, I got to tell you, when you have it, you don't know how a tour is going to go. You don't know whether it's going to sell out. You're getting your money up front with the management, getting your money, on the pre-ticket sales or whatever. But you don't know whether or not merch is going to happen or you're going to add shows. You just don't know. Yeah. But if you do, if it goes well, you're set, right? Yeah. And when it does, for Taylor to share that with people, and by the way, other bands do this all the time without saying anything. I know Foo Fighters have done it. U2 has done it. Coldplay very famously did it and didn't say anything about it for years. You do a great tour, and you make sure everyone's really, really taken care of on the other side of things. But when you do that, boy, does it tend to shut up some of these stories. You know what I mean? Yeah. When it's like, okay, they're taking care of us. And okay, maybe, I didn't really want to go to that strip club that night or whatever, but, it's, I didn't get hurt or anything. It sucks. Yeah. But it was okay, but this is a tour and I'm getting money for it. It's a job, and so I think that that's kind of what's behind it. I mean, why would you sue to try to get a few $1 million instead of knowing that you're going to be doing these tours for many years and make your money that way? It just seems like a money thing to me, because they're not working now, right? They're off the tour.
And as you said, if that name rolls across the desk of somebody else in the future,
totally unfairly,
they may have a little pause because this person wants to, but maybe also a piece of it is, you said there was some proselytizing happening from somebody.
From the dance captain, maybe. I do not like that shit.
Maybe maybe a piece of this is we're going to clean up this filth of this industry. Right. And so I don't know. I mean,
this could be an anti-woke thing.
Maybe. I don't know. It's just, there's a whole lot of things it could be. And, but we are not attorneys. Please feel free to seek your own legal counsel and advice.
Give me one pause here, and then we're going to come back with Sync of the Week. Cool. But look what just happened.
I can't see it. Oh, there's a cat. Nice pushy.
Come on. Come on. Come on. That's a good girl.
Particle man, doing the things that a particle can. What's he like? It's not important. Particle man, is he a dot or is he a speck? When he's underwater, does he get wet? Or does the water get him instead? Nobody knows. Particle man.
He's Todd the Wet Sprocket.
Oh, I'm singing Particle Man by They Might Be Giants. That's the whole music for everybody.
Particle Man.
That's it. That's the way it happens.
Yes, we are not lawyers. Okay, so let's wrap that up. Thank you so much, Lizzo, for being who you are, and I hope you didn't do some of this shit. And actually, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. I hope you fucking did. I'll go on tour with some of this stuff. I'll go to that strip club. You know what? I'm not a great dancer, but I can learn. Okay, so
what's the line from the Swayze Chris Farley thing? Your moves are so great, but your body is just so bad.
So bad. So bad. Hey, anyway. Remember when you danced with Patrick Swayze?
Yeah.
All right, let's get to Sync of the Week. Sync of the Week. You want to lead this one off?
Yeah, I'm gonna let me to peruse my notes here. So I told everybody, I told you at least, that I was watching Good Omens, and I kind of fell asleep during the first episode of season 1, so I had to restart it again. And
that's right. You like to watch the season before to get you prepped.
Yes, I like to get so.
I know someone like that.
Is it your person?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. Is it? Nope. No, so I'm watching Good Omens, and in the very first episode, there's a beautiful placement of Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, very nice.
And it ties into I don't remember. Oh my God, I'm so terrible with character names. The one dude with the face and the eyeballs, the guy he plays, Crowley. Yeah. David Tennant. He's driving this fucking fantastic old car, and like the voice of Freddie Mercury comes out of the song, says, "What you did on the M25 was beautiful, darling." Like this. It's just this really, really beautiful placement and part of the story. I can't remember if it's in the book or not, but I really love that. And that was the very first episode. Catherine Grimes, the supervisor on that one. Cat Grimes.
Yes, very nice.
So,
by the way, it should be mentioned if you're a Good Omens fan, it is a 1926 Bentley. And
it is.
It plays very... It plays very heavily into all of the series and the book.
Yeah. Yes.
But it just sounded right to him. But it's supposed to be it's a 33 in the TV adaptation. So if you are a car lover, you'll be like, "That's not a 1926 Bentley," but it's a Bentley. But even Gaiman explained that this was in the days before Google.
That is Neil Gaiman.
And as it turned out, the 1933 Bentley was closer to what Pratchett and Gaiman had envisioned. So that's what you're seeing, but it's written as a 1926. But just when you get into the second season, into the Deuce, you're gonna love it. You're gonna really love it, I think.
I'm very excited about it. Yeah. Is your sync of the week from the cock this week?
It is not.
It's not on
Apple TV.
Okay.
My shows are starting to come back slowly. I have not been able to get back into Foundation yet.
I restarted season 1 again just to...
Probably going to have to.
Yeah,
what was so funny is like for the longest time we wanted to watch Foundation, and then it was like, God, it's really hard to press play on it. Once you do, you get into it, but like it just doesn't seem like fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like a lot of nights, that's what I want. I want some fun.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It could be horror. It doesn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's just some, but there's some there. I'm like, I just don't want to live in a bad place for an hour or 2 hours tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gotten back into Foundation yet. But one of my shows, which is shocking, I think, for me as a man, I like this show called Physical with Rose Byrne.
Oh, I love Physical. Yeah.
Yeah. And Rory Scorefield, and there's a few other people. Well, she is joined, by the way, the second season, we've noticed, is Rose Byrne Physical. It's no longer Physical, and then somewhere down there starring Rose Byrne, it's Rose Byrne Physical.
That's cool.
So I think she may have a little bit more skin in the game, as it were.
Ex-ASP executive
but joining
us
this season...
Yeah,
I won't give away any spoilers. We try not to do spoilers on here.
Yes.
But Zoe Deschanel is in it.
Oh.
And also, oh God, who is? I'm trying to remember the other person I wanted to tell you that was in it. Nope, none of those are right.
We're nailing it today, by the way.
I know this is just I'm just doing horrible. This is
great radio.
Horrible.
Great radio.
Whitney Cummings is also. She
nice.
makes a little moment in this, and it's very good.
Excellent.
But anyway, in season 2 or season 3, season 3 of Physical, which we're back into now. They're doing some really cool things with music. They did a lot of hit songs in the past in the past 2 seasons. Like it was always hits. They're doing some like sort of deeper stuff because now they're getting into 1984, 85-ish, something like that. However, I did pick the hit, but I want to tell you why. Because it's Everything She Wants remix from Wham.
Oh, nice.
And that song is a banger.
Yep.
To this day, go listen to it. Do listen to the remix. It's faster. It's mixed better. This is where George Michael basically started departing from Wham and was able to write and produce all of the music. And to his credit, Andrew Ridgeley basically said, you know what? You're right. Go do that shit, because that's a better song than I could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this also, if I didn't tell you, make sure to watch that documentary on Wham on Netflix. I think I said something about that. There's a new one for George Michael that picks up right at the end of that. And I believe that's on Amazon.
There's a sequel?
On Apple TV, my sync of the week is from Physical, and it's everything she wants. And I'm from Wham, and I'm just saying that, like, it's still a hit.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's still a hit, like 35 years later, 40 years, whatever it is. It's still like just a very good song. And I mean, and some of the lines in it, some of the lines just kill me so much. The whole, if my best isn't good enough, then how can it be good enough for two? Oh. About like he got her pregnant. That's brutal. And then the killer line is I don't even think that I love you. That delivery, I don't even think that I love you, is just perfect. God damn it, that's superstar shit. You could sing that 900 different ways. That's the only way it should be done.
He was an anomaly. Like, what an incredible singer, an incredible songwriter. Like,
and it's you can hear these things in that song. I don't want to go on too long about this, but you can hear so many parts of this song in his performance where if you've ever produced records or if you've done a record or whatever, and a producer's asking you on how to... This is the difference between recording a record and being a recording artist. Understanding how to sing those lines in a different way than you sing. You're not just singing the notes, you're not just singing the melody or the rhythm. There are pull-offs on your voice that happen. There are ways that you land that note, the ways that you pull that note at the end of it. I love you. That right there, the way it sits in the mix. Like, go listen to it. I know I'm waxing poetic about this stupid fucking song from the 80s. But you can learn so much from this little song, especially for the vocal part.
I'm going to go listen to it right after we're done here.
It's so good. Plus, a song about a guy going like, man, I work hard, motherfucker, and it's not enough for you. Like, I'm all about some male empowerment. I've had some bad women in my life, let's just say. And so I love the idea of a guy going, hey, I work my ass off and it's still not enough for you. Kick rocks. Walk it down the line. Even if she's pregnant, be like, no, I'm not down for this.
Ooh.
And like, I'll take care of the baby maybe, but not you. And I mean, there's something, obviously that is that's controversial, right? That's a great controversial kind of thought about a song. First of all, that a man would like leave a woman because he's working too hard and she doesn't appreciate it. And then second, because maybe she kind of hit a pregnancy. And then third, like, oh, wait a minute, you're a man. You're supposed to stay with her for the baby. Not necessarily. I'll take care of the kid, but I'm not going to ruin both of our lives. I mean, that's controversial.
Yeah, very much so.
And so anyway, it's a great song, and listen to the vocals on it. You'll learn a lot.
Hell yeah. That's a solid choice. That's a great song.
All right, let's wrap this up. Kelsey, press pause. Okay, we're going to go to the moon on this thing because I want you to remember to rate and subscribe to our podcast on Apple. Ooh. We are kicking ass. 5 stars, y'all. 5 stars all across the board. We're killing it. Leave a hilarious comment, and I'm going to give a total shout out here. I want to give a shout out in this section. We have the under music playing, and I'm sure it's just fantastic and it sounds great. But I want to thank all of you who are listening over on YouTube. So we now have like 25, 30 people on YouTube.
Oh, nice.
And first of all, I just thank you so much for being over on YouTube. You can, of course, listen to this on 2ShotsMusicPod.com. It's right there. You can listen to it right there. And I want to give a special shout out to Bill Lewis.
Oh, yeah.
Bill has been messaging us every now and then. We're like, hey, is a podcast out? So anyway, you know Bill. We love Bill, but like we're giving Bill Lewis some love here. I'm just giving Bill Lewis some love. That's all. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I appreciate the gifts that he sends me. You can find him on Instagram, William Lewis 72. Bill Lewis is your man. Go check him out. And thank you everybody on YouTube for following us there. And share it with some people. See what you think.
Yeah, send it on. Especially some of these things where we've given, I think the last one, maybe a couple weeks ago, we did the full release. Here's a release plan. Here's your basics.
Yeah.
I think that you should share that with every musician you know.
I'm about to do it again tomorrow.
Here, listen to this and leave me alone.
I use that checklist a lot.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, thank you so much. So make sure to go and write a great song. You all look lovely. And we, for now, until we talk to you again, we'll say
adieu.
Bye.